What up, everybody? I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah! I'm back. And better than ever. Fuck yeah. Uh, and we're going to be reviewing a movie today. A classic one that came out in 1997. Yes, all the way back in 97. Check it out. Suicide Kings. Now, Suicide Kings is a kind of a mafioso movie, but yet a kidnapping movie, a drama, suspense, a little bit of a horror, kind of a comedy, all blended into one. It's about these four guys who are very, very, very desperate, and for different reasons, mind you. They end up taking this crime boss, Charlie, hostage. And yeah, they end up kind of like just kicking at his restaurant, setting up a trap for him. They say they're going to drive him home. They end up kidnapping him, and everything just kind of goes to shit from there. Now, what happens is, out of these four individuals, these four kids, teenagers, like 20s, somewhere around there, one of the members' sisters gets kidnapped, who coincidentally another member is with. Yeah, it gets confusing, but she ends up getting kidnapped. So they kidnap Charlie in order to get her back. And so what they did is they cut off her finger, and they sent it to them. So they ended up cutting off Charlie's finger. Now, Charlie is played by Christopher Walken, who, if you don't know who Christopher Walken is, he is a wonderful actor. He does a lot of good work, and it's worth watching his movies. He seems to own every part that he's in. I mean, even this part in Fatboy Slim music video where he's tap dancing around, he owns that. Now, he plays the part of Charlie, and he is just charismatic. He can be evil when he has to be. He does a great job in balancing that out really well. Dennis Leary's in this movie. He plays Alano, Charlie's second, and the man that's trying to find him. And Dennis Leary does such a wonderful job in this movie too. He steals every scene that he's in. I mean, like every scene, wonderful. There's a lot of other actors too, like Johnny Gleck from Big Bang. This is one of his earlier movies. Sean Patrick Flannery from Boondock Saints. This is an early movie for a lot of different actors. Really good. Now the mystery is who took the sister, who took this girl. And this is what they're all trying to figure out and find out. Now, I don't want to spoil the ending for you because it's sort of a nice little surprise ending. But what ends up happening is that one of the characters, Max, I do believe, he ends up falling in love with the sister. And both families kind of don't like each other, but they get together. There's no way for them to be together because of the family. She ends up getting kidnapped, and the whole situation just kind of spins out of control from there. There's take Jay Moore. He's in this movie too. He does a wonderful job as like the control freak Brett, the one who kind of like masterminds this whole situation. Like I said, there's a lot of good characters, a lot of good interactions between the characters too, and it's so hard to like talk about the movie without trying to not give anything away. I mean, the speeches that Christopher Walken gives is absolutely wonderful. And keep in mind, he's actually tied to a couch most of the time during this movie. And the movie's kind of like a whodunit. It's a mystery. And so you can check it out one more time. You can see him strapped into that chair right there with all the usual suspects. See, and you see the four guys right there, and then Dennis Leary trying to figure out what's going on. Now, of these four guys, one of them has kidnapped the girl. One of them is responsible for this. And there's different reasons, and it kind of catches you on who's really responsible. And you kind of go into who Charlie is. And Charlie is kind of a gentleman gangster. Now keep in mind, he will kill you. There's actually a story in the movie where these people were bothering him and they ended up disappearing and fed to their dogs. So I'm just trying to give you perspective on who Charlie is. Charlie is a mobster that is not to be fucked with on any level. But he's also funny. He's also caring. He cares about the people that he employs, which ends up saving him. Because Charlie has a heart. And Charlie does look out for certain people. And that's what actually ends up saving Charlie. Is the fact that all these people that he's done so much for ends up finding him. And ends up, they use his contacts in order to find the girl too. That's the whole reason they kidnapped him. And removed his finger. Keep that in mind. They removed a crime boss's finger. So there will be a little retribution here and there. Like I said, this movie, a little long, but it has a great story to it. You don't even notice how long the movie is because it hooks you right away. And like I said, the wonderful performances all the way around from the four different men that were playing the kids. Well, they're not kids anymore. I mean, the movie came out in '97, but it was great performances all the way around. Like TK, the one who cuts off his finger, he plays a drug addict. It's just interesting how these students kind of bounce off of each other. And I have to say, one of my favorite back and forth is between a character named Ira, that's Johnny Galec's character, and Christopher Walken. And Johnny Galec's character is kind of the guy that just kind of gets stuck in this. He's the poor idiot that that they end up like, all right, these guys end up kidnapping Charlie, these four guys, and the fifth guy, Ira, is just there. They're just using his house. They're supposed to play poker that night. So these four guys kidnap Charlie. The one guy, there's five of them. Four kidnappers, one poor stooge. Johnny Galec's character and Charlie have a great back and forth. And he kind of plays Charlie's, I don't want to say nurse, more like stooge. You know, like he's just doing everything and anything that he can to save his life because he wasn't involved in this situation all the way. Like he was just there. He just so happened to walk in on the situation and these idiots kind of doing this. And yeah, you find out a little bit about each character and why these four men have motives in order to, like, motives to take this girl. But like I said, there's wonderful interactions between all the characters. All the actors actually do a good job in playing off of each other. You really believe that these guys were friends and that they've been friends for a long time and they know each other. And the speeches from Charlie, oh man. Here, let me give you a taste. You know everybody lies. Women, men, police, but the streets, that's solid. Word on the street. Like, you just gotta watch the movie to listen to the way Christopher Walken speaks and talks and interacts. He's another man that just steals every scene that he's in. I don't think anyone else could have played Charlie the way that Christopher Walken did. And there's actually a scene back in the day, like a flashback, where Christopher Walken, he has a habit of dancing in a lot of his movies, like a Joe Dirt, and this one, he kind of does the same thing and also murders someone. So it's, like I said, you really got to watch the movie to understand what I'm saying. The movie's really good. It has a nice mystery to it, a good plot to it. It's really worth watching. If you want a good movie, something that, if you haven't seen it, it's very cerebral. You'll kind of sit there and think which person is guilty. And there's a lot of suspicion to go around. And like I said, it's a wonderful performance by Christopher Walken. If you're a Christopher Walken fan, this is a movie for you. If you're a fan of gangster movies, mob movies, mystery movies with a slight tinge of dark comedy, this is right up your alley. Like I said, it covers so many different bases. Check it out. Suicide Kings. It came out in '97, but man, it is worth watching all these years later. Almost what, 30 years later? Let's see, what, 25? And it's still worth watching today. I highly recommend it just to watch Christopher Walken go at it. I mean, man, he is so good in this movie. And as are the other characters. You get to see a lot of these guys when they were young bucks kind of taking on the movie, like Galecki. He became really big in Big Bang. This is before all that. So check out this movie. Be a judge for yourself. And check out Suicide Kings. And see all the trouble that it brings, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm the Comic Outlaw. And as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.